Check, 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 check. Check it out now. Funk Soul Brother. All right. We are live, and I don't know if you guys got any of that other stuff that I had in there, but anyhow, we are live. So I'm slowly beginning to figure all of this shit out, which is awesome. Got a lot of things happening here at the Beehive, and I'm going to share them with you probably this weekend sometime. We'll do What's the Buzz at the Beehive, and I'll let you guys in on what's happening. But in the meantime, welcome to the apocalypse. It's Apocalypse Humpday, and tonight we are reading. Well, let me tell you what a Apocalypse Humpday is, in case you don't know. Every Wednesday, Hump Day, as they say, every Wednesday will be, or I, not we, me and all my personalities. I'll be reading a short story dealing with the apocalypse, whether that be an alien invasion, nuclear war, zombie apocalypse, etc., etc. This one has to do with a alien invasion, so we got that going on tonight. So I've been really happy with the way things have been going with this. Somebody had made a comment that it is really nice to be told a story before they go to bed. So I used to do it for my kids, and now I'm doing it for you guys, 'cause I care, and I'm plugging my books a little bit, kind of pimping that out. So at any rate, thanks for those that joined me last night on the Tunes for Tuesday. We featured one of our listeners, Mitch Wilson, who did a little rendition of James Taylor and did a damn good job of it. If there's something out there you guys want to hear or you guys want to perform, please send me the video. Jump in and message me on here and let me know what you're looking for. So tonight's story, I need to go into kind of a big explanation about this, is coming from my book, Sleepwalker. And it is an anthology in a way. I was trying to do something a little different, and Sleepwalker kind of derived from a hunting trip. Me and a friend of mine from high school, a couple friends from high school, we would go hunting every year for deer opener, and we'd go deer hunting on deer opener. And one of these times, okay, granted, one of the main guys I go with, Jim, is a military guy. He's an ex combat vet, and he is used to waking up to the butt crack of dawn, and me not so much. And so we got up at about 4:30 a.m. and we went out to our spots, and we were out there way before the light came out, and so I fell asleep up in my deer stand, and I had a dream, many dreams, where I fell asleep and I woke up in a completely different reality than the one I was actually in. And I kept, every time I thought I would wake up again in my own reality, I ended up in another reality, and it just kept going on and on and on. Anyways, that's what this book is about two friends that go hunting. They're in these mystical woods in northern Minnesota, and the main character, Bo Broadmeadow, who is a Native American, falls asleep in his deer stand, and he slips through these thin spots in reality, and when he wakes up, he ends up in a different reality. and each reality is freaking horrible, and he has to fight his way through that reality to try to find his own reality. Um, Tonight's story, Atomic Sunrise, is he had been basically where he's at is he's been traveling through quite a few realities, and there's a shaman that is basically gave him a pendant made out of pipestone, which is kind of like this one. This is like the Maori version, and but yeah, it's kind of like this one, and basically it's the only thing that grafts him to his actual reality. And the shaman gives him instructions that you're going to start seeing things in whatever reality you're going to see some discrepancies from your own reality, and then you're going to start thinking, I don't think I belong here. And he said to grab the medallion that he gave him, which is like a dream catcher carved out of pipestone, and it'll ground you to your actual reality, and all your memories will come back to where you belong. So at any rate, our hero, Bo Broadmeadow, wakes up in this reality, which is where the story begins. And this one is an apocalyptic nightmare, as you'll see as we go on. Yeah. So without saying anything further, I just wanted to get that explained to you so you kind of realize what's going on in the story. But the book itself is basically every chapter is one of the dreams that I had. And I will be reading other stories out of this book as we go on with this apocalyptic nightmare ride that we're going on. And but you'll catch on that each one is its own separate reality, but they're all kind of bond together. So without any further ado, let's get into it. I've also included in this video, I've included links to my Amazon page where you can pick up my books, and also my YouTube channel. Please, 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 please like and subscribe. The videos I've posted on there, and also please like and subscribe this page, the Beehive page. This is where everything's going to be coming out of. I can't really do anything with my YouTube page except for share videos of these things until I have about 5,000 subscribers. So in order to get there, I need you guys to like and share and suggest to your friends to jump on. It's actually, my viewership has been growing exponentially, more than I thought it would. Even the Tuesday night tunes on Tuesday has really kind of gone off the rails, which is awesome. And it's actually two different types of audiences that I have on each one, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And anyhow, let's before I run into any other any more dead air, let's jump into Atomic Sunrise. And again, thank you guys for joining me tonight. And yeah, all right, let's rock this out. Atomic Sunrise from Sleepwalker. A shot rang out into the morning air. Bo snapped his eyes, opened his eyes, and wiped the frost gathering at his handlebar mustache. It was still morning. The sun shot through the thick clouds that were beginning to dissipate. He looked around, seeing the dense fog that seemed to be a permanent fixture of this part of the woods. "Jeff," he murmured to himself. As if in answer, his friend shouted across the blanketed valley between them, "Woohoo!" echoing off the trees around them. Bo turned on his handheld two-way radio that he and Jeff took with them to communicate with. "Jeff," he repeated again, this time into the mic. "You good?" Got him, came Jeff's snarky reply. Buck? 8-pointer. You lucky son of a bitch. I'll be over in a few to help you dress it. Bo stood up and was immediately dizzy. He leaned over and put his hands on his knees and looked out into the valley. Shit, he thought to himself. I don't want to go through that. The dizzy spell left, and he took a deep breath and pulled on his backpack and slung his rifle over his shoulder. He pulled out his .45 and cocked it to put a round into the chamber and then walked into the fog. On my way, Bo says into his mic. His head stayed above the fog and in the sunlight for about 60 feet. He felt safe and warm in the sunbeam, but eventually the terrain began to drop with the temperature, and he was over his head. He walked quietly and purposely, stopping once in a while to listen to the sounds around him. He began to feel better as he began to hear his friend in the distance, grunting as he made his way around his kill with his fillet knife. Jeff! Bo shouted. Over here! Jeff answered. Bo followed the sound of his voice and made it to where Jeff was squatting. It was a beautiful white-tailed buck, 8 points on its antlers, its eyes open in a dead stare, and Jeff slid it from the breast to the crotch. Got him right in the heart, Bo said. Perfect shot, amigo. Thanks, Jeff answered. Help me get the guts out of this thing. The two friends made quick work of the carcass. Jeff put on his pack and handed Bo his rifle. He swung the deer over his shoulder and nodded. They made their way back to the truck without stopping. Once they had the deer back at the cabin, Bo started the coals on the grill and Jeff sharpened the fillet knives. They both worked together to get the hide scraped, and then worked on butchering and processing the meat. The tenderloins were stripped off, and Bo washed up and put them on the grill. 2 beers cracked, and Bo jumped back into helping his friend finish processing. Bo kept the sinew, or silver skin, and dried it out and used it later as twine for certain projects he worked on. He loved to make his own weapons, and he used sinew quite a bit to tether his projects. Once processing was done, Bo put food on the picnic table, and they had out on the deck of the cabin. They'd pour themselves a Lemmy, which was a Jack and Coke, in honor of Lemmy Kilmister of Motorhead, and enjoy the meal they had shot. Traditionally, even if they didn't shoot a deer that year, they would have a cigar together and get drunk by evening. This year was no different. I love coming up here with you, man, Jeff said, exhaling a puff of smoke. I really do. It's the only thing that calms me after Afghanistan. It's been my pleasure, Bo said, looking at the stars. I love the woods. Even if we never got a deer every time we'd come up here, I still wouldn't miss it. They clinked their red solo cups together and took a deep draw. You know what we forgot? Bo said, pouring another drink. What's that? Jeff said. Will and Becca's chili feed. Aw, shit. Better call him, or he'll probably worry. Bo takes out his Samsung and dials him up. Where the fuck are you two? Will says. There's quite a bit of noise on the other line. Did you get raped by Sasquatch? Sorry, man. Jeff shot himself a buck and we got so busy processing we totally forgot about it. He did? How big? 8-pointer. We just got done eating some tenderloins. Lucky bastards. Tell Jeff congrats. I will. You sound busy over there. Oh, yeah. Fed about 28 hunters and we still have a line out the door. Becca's gonna be heartbroken you two didn't show. Tell her sorry. At least you know you'll have enough now that Jeff and I aren't coming. True that. I'll let her know. Hey, man, we'll meet up for breakfast at the Woodsman, 9 a.m. I gotta go. Leah's on the other line. Later, Ro. Bo taps his phone and picks up the other line. Hey, babe. Hey, she says. How did hunting go today? Jeff shot one. We just finished cleaning it and eating. How's your weekend? I don't know. I'm a little worried. Why? What's going on? Are the kids okay? The kids are fine. Have Have you watched the news? No, I haven't really looked at my phone until now. They're talking about war on the news. The Russians have begun their invasion into Ukraine. Oh, no, that's not good. But that's way over there, not here. We'll be okay, honey. I don't know. I wish you and the kids were home. Look, Leah, everyone is afraid to push the button. It's mostly just a dick swinging contest. When are you coming home? Should be home tomorrow night sometime. Okay, I'll let you go. Say hi to Jeff. Bo hangs up and lights up a cigarette. Everything okay? Jeff asks. Bo blows out a puff of smoke. Yeah, Leah's really worried about what's going on overseas. What's going on? Evidently, Russia invaded the Ukraine. Jeff spit out his drink. Say what? He said, surprised. Russia invaded the Ukraine, Bo repeated. What's the big deal? We knew that was going to happen. It's all overseas. It's not here. She say anything about China getting involved? What? No, dude, chill out. It's not. Jeff pulled up the news on his phone. First conference. China and North Korea have taken out Taiwan with nuclear weapons. A spokesman for the Chinese government issued a statement saying, "Let Taiwan be a warning to the United States and her allies. We will not be interfered with." Jesus, Bo says. They're throwing nukes around. Jeff holds up his finger. Shh. That all U.S. citizens abroad are recommended to return to the United States within the next 48 hours. Embassies across the globe in unfriendly countries are being routed to allied countries or being brought back home. Jeff puts his phone down and looks Bo dead in the eyes. Remember us talking about this kind of stuff? Jeff asks his friend. Yeah, since we were kids. Bo answers. They had always had this conversation ever since, especially since Jeff came back from Afghanistan. They talked about what they would do if shit hit the fan and they needed to hide out for a while. Both men had always had a plan to come up here. They had setups to keep power and fresh running water to the cabin if needed. They had always had a bug-out bag ready since their days in the Boy Scouts. Do you think this is it? Really? Yeah, brother. I think this is it. They called their wives. Jeff's kids still lived at home, so Shelley only needed to worry about bringing up the special trailer with herself and his two boys. Bo's kids were young adults and lived on their own with their own significant others. Leah was asked to bring as much food as she could fit in her SUV. Bo said he'll call the kids and make sure they got up here with them. His oldest daughter answered on the first ring. Dad? Libby sounded worried. Hey, Libby. Bo tried to sound nonchalant. Are you okay? I'm okay. I just got off the phone with Mom. What's going on? Is Danny there with you? Danny was his daughter's longtime boyfriend. He was a good kid. Bo liked him because he was very good to his daughter. No, he's at work. Okay. What time does he get done? 10 o'clock tonight. I'm going to need you to pack up as much food and water as you can and pick him up from work and come up here to Uncle Jeff's cabin. But he doesn't get off until... Honey, listen to me. You both need to get up here as soon as you possibly can. I think you've got at least 24 hours, but I'd rather have you up here sooner rather than later. Dad, you're scaring me. Good. Things are getting bad out there, honey. I want you with your family. Okay, I'll do what I can. Thank you. Please hurry. I've got to call your sister now. Be safe. I will. Love you, Dad. Love you too, kiddo. Kathy was his youngest and first to get married. Her and her husband lived in Miller's Valley, Nodak. It was a small rural town that rested on the border between Sodak and Nodak. They were 4.5 hours from the Minnesota border and another 2 hours to the cabin. Hey, Pops, Kurt, his son-in-law, answered. Kurt, Bo said. Kathy around? I think she's out feeding the chickens. Want me to get her? In a minute. Have you been watching the news? Yes, sir. So you know why I'm calling. I figured you would be. I was right. But I have followed everything you taught me, sir. We are prepped and ready for anything that life throws at us. 3 years ago, when a young 20-year-old Curtis Lund asked Bo for his blessing to marry his daughter, Bo told him that if he knew that Kathy was going to be well taken care of, he was okay with the wedding. Kurt had prepped for disaster. They canned food, they stocked up on guns and ammunition, and they had a tentative plan. Bo thought maybe he was a little gun heavy when it came to surviving and less food savvy, but at least he had a plan. How long do you think it would take for you guys to get out here to the cabin? Bo asked. Well, Kurt cleared his throat. We're thinking on just hanging out here. What? Well, I've got the shelter buried in the backyard here. We've got rations stored up underground, and we've got rabbits and chickens, and I'm armed to the teeth. I can appreciate that, Kurt, but her mother and I would really like it if you kids were here with us. I can understand that, Mr. Broadmeadow. Oh, Mr. Broadmeadow now. But Kathy is a married woman now. You entrusted me to take care of her. Besides, I don't think there will be any bombs dropped here on the Nodak Plains. There's literally nothing out here. There's literally missile silos 5 miles from your house. Well, yeah, but... Bo counted to 10 and took a deep breath. Can you please put my daughter on the phone? It won't do you any good to try and talk her out of... Kurt, put my daughter on the phone. Hello? It was Kathy. Kat, he missed her already. Hi, hon, how are you? I'm good, Dad. You know, despite things happening. So, Kurt tells me you've decided to stay in Nodak? There was a moment of silence. She was choosing her words carefully because she knew no matter how she put it, her parents were not going to be happy. Yes, Dad. We think it's best because... I know, I heard all the reasons why you think you should stay. How do you think your mother's going to feel about this? Dad, this isn't about how you or Mom feel. It's about what makes sense for me and my husband. And our baby. What? I'm sorry, I didn't want you guys to find out this way, but I'm pregnant. Yes, I know, not really the best time in the world to get pregnant, but Jesus, Kat. I don't know what to say. You could say you're happy for me. Bo ground his teeth and tried his best to calm down. I'm sorry, baby. I am happy for you. I'm happy for both. I just wish we could all be together. Your mother. You should call your mother and talk to her. Dad, she's not going to understand. I'm not sure I do either. I think it better she talks directly to you. I don't know when his heart began to break with the more words he said. I don't know how long phones are going to be up when this shit hits the fan. Okay, Dad. I'll call her. I love you, kiddo. I love you so much. We'll try to get out to you as soon as we can, okay? Okay, Dad. I love you too. Bo hung up the phone and began slamming his fists into a nearby tree. Jeff came up and grabbed his friend's arms and held him still for a moment. You okay? Jeff asked. No, Bo said. Not at all, buddy. Anything I can do? Thanks, but I don't think so. My youngest won't be coming. She decided to stay where she's at. Ouch. You trust her hubby to take care of her? Of course I do. He's a good kid, but now I'm going to be a grandpa, and the world is going to shit. Double ouch. Leah won't take this lightly. Well, she's a mom. Yep. Okay, amigo. Let's get this place set up, shall we? Jeff had the property pretty much set up already. It was mostly a matter of plugging in solar arrays and the mini turbines, organizing supplies, and perhaps tipping a few more lemmies. The wives and kids began to pull in. There were a couple trailers to empty, and Bo needed to have a private talk with Leah. What do you mean they're not coming? Leah said through grit teeth. Kathy and our son-in-law, Bo said, clearing his throat. He did a lot of that when he was having uncomfortable conversations. Have decided that they were safer where they are than trying to travel here. Well, we should go be with them, Leah said. We should be together as a family. Traveling that far will not be easy. There's going to be plenty of traffic trying to leave the bigger cities and heading out to more rural areas. Fine, then I'll go by myself. Well, now you're just being ridiculous. What about Libby and Danny? You're going to leave me and them behind too? Well, God damn it, Bo. Tears were falling heavy down her cheeks. Is it ridiculous to want to die with my family? Well, is it? Bo felt about 3 inches tall. He grasped his wife in his arms. She tried fruitlessly to slap him away from her, but eventually fell into his chest and wept. No, Bo kissed her forehead. You're right. We should all be together. Thank you. It's okay. I better talk to Jeff. Can you try and get a hold of Libby? Bo sauntered over to his high school buddy. They had played Dungeons and Dragons together in middle school, had many sleepovers through the summer months. They caught many a fish together on Minnesota lakes. Bo watched his friend leave for the army and welcomed a battle-worn ranger home. They'd mourned parents together, stood up at each other's weddings, and hunted deer and the occasional duck together. And now they were saying goodbye for what looked like the last time. Are you sure? Jeff asked. We planned this moment our entire lives. Yep, Bo said, not looking his friend in the eyes. But we didn't plan on our own families dividing into smaller ones. But Leah's right. We should all be together. Well, let me load you up with some supplies then, okay? Thanks, man. I don't call too many people my brother. Lost ties with a lot of friends from our childhood. But you and the 2 remaining friends I fought with in Afghanistan are the only ones I consider my brothers. I know, and I'm honored. If we make it through this, I hope to see y'all again. He hugged his friend and his friend's family, took the supplies Jeff helped him load, and they got into Bo's truck and drove down the gravel driveway. Libby and Danny are on their way to Katz, Leah said, buckling her seatbelt. They'll meet us there. Okay. Leah grabbed his hand and squeezed it. You don't think we're going to make it, do you? She said, looking at him. He paused and let that question roam around in his brain for a bit, picking and choosing the right words to come out of his mouth. I hope that we make it, he said finally. The odds are looking slim, but I'm hoping that I'm wrong and we can drive straight through. My concern is for Libby and Danny right now because they must drive through some bigger cities. Their route will be a rough one. I'll feel better when we're all huddled under the same roof. Thank you, she said sadly. Thank you for trying. He looked back at her and leaned in for a kiss. In 3 hours, they reached the border. He was surprised at how light the traffic really was. The sign before them made him do a double take. Welcome to Nodak, the Great Plain State. Nodak, he thought. Why doesn't that sit right with me? You forget most of your original life in every reality, but certain things seem to trigger your original consciousness. This is the key to finding your way back. My way back, he mumbled to himself. Everything okay, honey? Leah asked. What? Yeah, it's just what? I don't know. Nodak. Has this state always been called Nodak? Are you being serious? Yeah, something about it doesn't sit right with me. You're stressed. Let me turn on the radio. Since the takeover of Ukraine and Taiwan, NATO has begun its retaliation, especially with Poland beginning to defend itself against Russian and Chinese ground forces. The president has asked for even more sanctions after the bombing and invasion of Alaska. The United States is now moving from DEFCON 4 to DEFCON 3. Martial law will be declared in the next 2 days. The president is asking for citizens to gather supplies and to move to somewhere safe, either in an emergency shelter or in their basements. Always keep a battery-operated radio on and stay indoors. I never understood what DEFCON meant, Leah states, looking grim. It's a military readiness system, Bo says. It stands for Defense Readiness Condition. DEFCON 5 is peacetime. 4 is when the military begins gathering intelligence and supplies. 3 is when select forces are ready to deploy within about 15 minutes. 2 military forces are standing ready to deploy and fight within 6 hours. And 1 is immediate military readiness. It's bad. The big kaboom. Shit is getting serious. Yeah, it sure is. Bo clicks on his Bluetooth. Dial Libby Lou. We're sorry. All lines are busy. Please hang up your phone and try your call again later. Thank you for using Velocity Wireless. Redial. We're sorry. All lines are busy. Please hang up your phone and try your call later. Thank you for using Velocity Wireless. Son of a... Redial. We're sorry. All lines are End phone call. I'll try texting her, Leah says, taking out her phone. Leah. Libby, trying to call you, but the lines are tied up. Where are you? Libby. Hi, Mom. We're stuck in Montevideo. Roadblock. Leah. Are you safe? Libby. Yeah. Where are you and Dad? Leah. We just crossed over the Nodak and Minnesota border. You're about an hour and a half away from us. Libby. Are you and Dad okay? Leah. Yes, honey, we're okay. Libby. KK. Danny said he's going to try a back road out of here. Leah. Be careful. Traffic is pretty good up this way. Libby. We will. Love you, Mom. Leah. Love you too, kiddo. Everything okay? Bo asked. Yep, Leah says with a slight smile. Danny is going to try to find a back road out of Montevideo. Evidently, there are a roadblock off to the north of them. Only a quarter mile from the highway. There is a flash from inside the earth. The ground begins to rumble, and Bo slows his truck down. A plume of gray smoke gushes from a hole in the ground, and then a long cylindrical object begins to rise from its nest. Across the plains, ICBMs are lifting into the daytime sky. Holy fuck! Bo shouts. Oh my God, Leah cries out. What's happening? It started. We began launching intercontinental ballistic missiles. What? This is it. This is the end. But the kids. Well, hopefully we can get to cats before they start hitting us. Bo punches the accelerator as the sky fills with nuclear rockets heading to end the lives of Russian and Chinese families. How long do you think it'll take for Russia to bomb us? Leah asked. I'm guessing they hit the button first and we counter-launched. It takes about 30 minutes for a missile to get to the U.S. from Russia. But I'm thinking they're going to hit the big places like New York and Washington, D.C., L.A. and Dallas. Places like that before they launch at America's breadbasket. 30 fucking minutes? Yes. He clicks on his Bluetooth again. Dial Cat. There's a ring this time and not the annoying robot tone of busy lines. Dad? It was Cat's voice, shaky and quivering. Dad, is that you? Yes, honey. It's me and Mom. Kathy begins to sob and Leah joins in. Bo's heart is breaking, but he holds it in to keep focused on the road ahead. Are you okay, baby? Leah asks through her tears. Yes, Mama. Kurt and I are making our way to the shelter now. We're trying to make it to you guys. Libby and Danny are right behind us, too. Mama, you're not going to make it. Don't talk like that, honey. We're going to make it. Your dad is driving really fast. But, honey, just listen to me, okay? Dad and I are going to try to make it to you. We'll knock 3 times on the shelter door when we get there, okay? Just don't you worry. Mama? Yes, baby? I love you. Leah knew what those 3 sad words meant. It meant we're not going to see each other again. She knew it and understood it, and so did Bo. Cat, Bo spoke up. Yeah, Dad? He remembers the first time the word Dad came from her little mouth. I'm sorry, kid. I'm so sorry. It's okay. I know you tried. Bo stopped the truck and began to weep himself. What are you doing? Leah spoke up. Why did you stop? I think you and Dad should head back to catch up with Libby, Kat said between sobs. But, Mom, I love you both. Tell Libby and Danny I love them too. Take care of that grandbaby of mine, Bo says. Tell them stories about Grandma and Grandpa, okay? I will. An even brighter flash of light came from the south. The phone went dead, and for a temporary time of 8 seconds, Bo and Leah could only see a painful bright white. Then, after 30 seconds, a loud boom shattered the windows of the truck and stopped the engine dead. The broken glass ripped Bo's shirt to shreds. Then a hot, searing wind blew, and before it could scorch their flesh, it tossed the truck and trailer into a spiral into the ditch. They landed with a crunch and then slid down into the county ditch. Leah! Bo felt his way around the passenger side of the cab. Leah! I'm right here, she grasped his hand. They were upside down in a crumpled hunk of burning metal. The water in the ditch hissed as it ran across the glowing frame of the truck. He looked around and saw a large cement culvert beneath a field approach. Come on, honey, he said gently. We need to get to that culvert over there. They unbuckled and fell from their seats. They were able to crawl through the crumpled window slot and waded through the water to the culvert. Their blisters screamed with every heartbeat. The sickening smell of cooked flesh slithered into their ruined nostrils. Are you okay? He asked his wife. I'm in so much pain, she answered. I can't cry because I think my tear ducts have burned away. Try to stay as submerged as you can in the water. Jesus, Bo, I can't believe this is happening. This is a fucking nightmare. Do you think the kids... She couldn't finish that sentence. Bo could see all the supplies they had hauled in the trailer were sprawled all over the ditch and figured they were contaminated now. Bo? Leah asked him, staring at his chest. Yeah, he said. He couldn't see that well. Most everything was a partial blur. Where did you get that? Get what? She reached out and lifted what looked like a dream catcher carved out of pipestone. This? I've never seen you wear it before. Huh. He looked down at it. I'm not sure. I don't remember putting it on, to be honest. It looks native. Maybe your mom gifted it to you or something. Maybe. But you haven't ever worn it before. Strange. What's so strange? I wear my wedding band all the time and I don't even notice it's there on my finger. Did you get this from one of your side chicks? One of my... Are you being for real right now? It's the end of the world now, Bo. Might as well be honest with each other. I've cheated on you. What the fuck, Leah? Are you off your fucking rocker? Bo grabbed the talisman from her, and suddenly it felt as if the breath had been knocked out of him. He almost drowned in the 2 feet of water they were lying in. Touch this talisman and your memories will return to you. Oh, shit, he said as his brain began to flood with what he'd been through his entire life. Memories that did not belong to this Bo Broadmeadow, but to another. What's the matter? Leah spat. Speechless? Leah, he said quietly. Yes? We're not married. We're divorced. I think it might be a little hard to find a divorce lawyer now, Einstein. No. We got divorced about 5 years ago. You cheated. That's right. And it's not Nodak. It's North Dakota. What the fuck are you on about? This isn't my reality. I don't belong here. I slipped through. I, I must find the original thin spot. Jesus, I think your brain got cooked. Where the fuck are you going? I need to get back to the cabin. I need to find the original thin spot. You are not leaving my ass here. They both trudged up the scorched earth. Everything was covered in radioactive ash. Bo had kept his grip on the talisman while Leah kept pace with him. You're fucking insane, do you know that? She spat at him. Speak whatever hateful words you want, he said to her, looking towards the east. I've heard them all before. I've been through all of this already. You're talking crazy. You're going to try to walk to the cabin with your lungs? Ha! A good father would be walking to see if his daughter survived, not look for some thin spot. They walked for about 4 miles. The pain from the burns were lessened by his will to get back. Her burns only seethed with every step of the point, to the point of berating her husband even more. He finally stopped. He turned around and took his ex-wife by the arms. Leah, he said gently, for whatever grief I've caused you, I'm sorry. I'm saddened about the fate of my daughters in this reality or any other they are in. I love you in any reality I can remember because you're the mother of my kids. Outside of that, there's nothing. I hope you can find happiness in this horrible apocalyptic world, but I must move on to where I belong. I'm so sorry for you, but I have to say goodbye again. With that, he walked off. He didn't know if he would make it all the way back to Reamer, Minnesota, or the hunting grounds where the thin spot was. He only knew that he had to try. He focused on the clip-clop of his boots against the dusty tarmac and kept east. Leah's shape got smaller and smaller. When he reached the border, he recognized the sign indicating he was leaving Nodak and entering Minnesota. It was burnt and twisted, and smoke drifted from it. There was another flash, this time from the north. A rumbling roar ripped through the air, and he felt the incinerating heat begin to strip his flesh away. He planted his melting boots to the ground, gripping the talisman in disintegrating fingers, and squeezed his eyes shut. Take hold of the talisman, and remember who you really are. My name, Bo said through teeth that were beginning to fall out of his mouth. The lids of his eyes were melting away. My name is Bo. Bo Broadmeadow. And with that, that is tonight's Apocalypse Humpday story, Atomic Sunrise. And he actually goes into another reality. He wakes up into another reality. So, yeah. So, if you want to get the book, check out the link that I've got on this video to Amazon, to my Amazon page. It's got all my books listed. And my cousin Louise says hello. Oh, this is you, my American cousin. Yes, it is me. And I love you as well. So, yeah, cool. My live broadcasts are reaching New Zealand. So that's very cool. Anyways, yeah, so that story comes from my book Sleepwalker. It's really a book about brotherhood. The brotherhood that I have with my hunt buddy Jim. His name is Jeff in the book. Yeah. And just the importance of friendships. I've been friends with Jim since we were very, very young, and yeah, we're still friends to this day, and it's pretty cool. So anyhow, keep your eye out for the buzz at the Beehive. We're going to be talking about some things coming up, projects I started working on. and everything else that's happening here at the Beehive. Tune in on Tuesday. Tunes on Tuesday next week is going to be happening. I never set a time for it because my work days get kind of crazy and I can't promise when I'll be home from work. So I try to make them around 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock ish. And then also come back next week on Wednesday for Apocalypse Humpday. Next week we're going to be reading a short story called what the hell is the name of that song? The name of the story for next week is going to be called Row 127, I believe. Yeah, Row 127. And that is from my first horror book that I wrote, Midnight Snacks. So yeah, well, I'll be busting that out on you. It's kind of a UFO type of story. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Same time, 9 o'clock. If you don't catch anything that I pump out of this thing here, out of the Beehive page, you can always catch it on YouTube. I try to post as many reels with links to these little broadcasts that I do. So there's no excuse to miss one. Again, please let your friends and family know about this page, about things I do on here, and whatever. If you enjoy it, please like, love, share everything you can. Those of you that have, I very much appreciate you. I appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. I appreciate you guys checking in later and watching on YouTube or on here. Your support is great. And I may not be as popular as Stephen King or anybody like that, but just the thought that a few of you out there listening and hanging out with me and reacting and stuff like that means a lot to me. So I appreciate you. Mwah. I hope you all have a good night. I hope you all enjoyed this, and we will chat very soon. Hope to see you this weekend on the Buzz. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a great night.